Rolling? All right, I'm going to call this meeting of the West Waukene Economic Development Corporation to order at 5:30 p.m. Everyone rise for the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us here together. We thank you for the blessings that you have given to our country, to our state, to our city, and we ask for you to continue to protect us as we go into the future. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so for the roll call, to let everyone know, Mary Chumley is not here tonight. She's taking care of her child. Kathy is not here. She's got the stomach flu. And Cindy Phillips is not here because she doesn't know what kind of virus she has, but she's sick.
Oh,
So
Hopefully gets feeling better soon, and thank you for not bringing it here.
yeah.
I was texting going, just stay home, get well. So, but we do have 4 of us here, so that does make a quorum, so we'll be able to go ahead and conduct business. Let me give you the announcements that were on the agenda that was posted, and then a couple that were not. First, there's Pancakes with Santa on December 6th from 8 to 11 at the Waukene Volunteer Fire Department for a $5 donation per person. The Texas Christmas Parade, sponsored by the Lake Waukene Chamber of Commerce and the Quinlan ISD and the City of Quinlan, will be on December 13th, starting at 2 p.m. on Main Street in Quinlan, with the theme of a cowboy Christmas. Christmas in the Park that the City of West Waukene is doing is on the same date. That's going to be on December 13th from 3 to 5 p.m. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be in the park to take photos with every child, and they will each receive a free gift from the Santa Claus. This event is sponsored by the City of West Waukene, the West Waukene Police Department, and the Waukene Volunteer Fire Department. Our December business of the month is Chow Camp Food Truck Park. So you can see that on both the city's website for the EDC and on the EDC Facebook page. Texas Workforce is going to be holding a job search workshop at the library on December 10th from 11 to 1. And the library is also hosting a Christmas party that everyone is invited to on December 12th from 11 to 1 for all ages. And then the final announcement, for those of you who may not know, the City Council adopted the West Waukene EDC Comprehensive Plan at their November 12th meeting. Are there any other announcements?
You said, which comprehensive plan?
The 20-year comprehensive plan for,
The city
no, the
EDC.
EDC plan. Yeah, did you see watch the City Council YouTube? Okay. So that's what they adopted.
You told me.
Yes, I did. Good,
You weren't
good
here
job.
to watch this.
Good job. I made him watch it. So, anything else that I missed? All right. So now we'll take any citizens' input related to agenda items. All right, so there's none. We'll move on to the consent agenda, items A through C. That involves approval of the EDC minutes from November 3rd, the bank statement for November, which shows our beginning balance on the bank statement was $160,190, and our ending balance is $167,716. And then approval of bills paid and to be paid. So we have our regular bills this month. We've got the electric bill on the building. Sylvia now is paid for 2 months, so she's paid up. The payment to the attorney, Lee, for $500. $76 reimbursement to me for office supplies. I think that's it. Those are all the bills.
That,
for this one. Any questions? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a question on the bank statement itself, and it's not really a question, it's a statement, and
Yeah.
could go to another meeting for another time, but we draw almost no interest off this account. And I would think that they could get us in some kind of money market account that would get 2.5%, 3% maybe. We're getting 0.01, and we're keeping a pretty high balance, so that could turn into some decent money in a year's time.
Apparently, the way that it's set up, because it's a municipality, they don't offer the money market accounts for the EDC. We have 2 CDs, each one for 59,000 and one for 50,000, that are receiving the highest rate that we can get through this bank in interest. And our CD, the one that we approved for me to take out for 50,000 at the beginning of my term, was for 6 months. It was renewed on 10/16, and that renewal is for 7 months at 3.55% interest. And for the first 6 months that we had it in there, we earned $842.80.
Yeah, I saw the earnings on the P&L.
So we're trying to do that. We're trying to make sure we have that money in CDs to be able to collect that interest.
Sure. Makes sense.
But they don't give you municipalities the same opportunities
They don't
that
give
they do
much.
individual citizens.
Got it.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion?
I second the motion.
We have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous 4-0. All right, we'll go on to number 7, discuss and or take action on the profit loss statements for November. Again, we're doing really well, and our expenditures right now are consistent with what we have in the budget. The only thing that I do want to make sure that I let all of you know is that in terms of paying the $100 membership fee to the Chamber of Commerce, if you look back through all the statements and you realize that we paid that twice this year, we paid it once in, I think it was April, and then paid it again in September. That's only because the previous board, when they got the bill back September 2024, never paid it. So by the time I came on, we had to pay that arrears. We had to catch up on it, and then that's why our regular payment is in September. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the profit loss statements for November.
Make a motion that we approve the profit loss statement for November.
I'll
Second,
second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Then we'll move on to item 8. Discuss and or take action on the park improvement grant program. So I went to the city council meeting, last meeting, and presented them with the park improvement grant program to get their feedback and to see whether or not they wanted us to use that particular program, which would be consistent with the language that we have already approved for the facade grants and for the parking lot grants. And city council came back and said that they would like us to keep working on it, since this is a new grant kind of program, to continue to work on the wording of that. And they want to see a matching grant program where the city would put up a certain amount of money and then the EDC would match that money for whatever we're improving in the park. And I thought that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, hard to argue with, because usually not willing to go that far. Okay.
The second thing that, we have talked about it in here multiple times now about the park, and I don't know that we're going to come to any particular conclusion tonight on this, but the second thing about this is we've talked about how do we hold the city accountable for maintaining what has been done in the park. For example, I keep going back to the money that we gave for the doors to be repaired, to assist with those door repairs on the bathroom, and 6 weeks later, the doors are damaged again. So we want to have some kind of policy in our program that says, in the grant language, that says,
They maintain me.
they're going to do maintenance for at least a certain number of years, and if they don't maintain it, then they're going to have to reimburse EDC the money that was given for it.
I love it.
That matches with what Texas state law says we're supposed to do as well. We're supposed to have performance agreements that have clawback clauses for all contracts that we do when we use the money for things, which says if you don't do whatever it is in the contract, then we get to claw back and take that money back into the EDC. It also is something that the city attorney approached me and is happy about us doing some kind of language like that, so we're consistent with Texas law. So at the council meeting, I kind of tasked Casey with coming up with some ideas or to think about what that might look like for a matching grant. So I want you to tell me what you've been thinking about and if you have any suggestions or recommendations.
So I don't have much on it other than the fact that is trying to get more feedback. Is it dollar for dollar? As far as the legal language within it, to me, is that something that needs to be attorney drafted, obviously. So we'd have her do that. So really it's just coming to the terms of what that match looks like. And then, like you say, what the repercussions are if it's not maintained. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough to say what those guidelines can look like as far as length of time that they would have to maintain it, what they would, how we'd require them to maintain it. Obviously, if it's security or something like that, we could do the door. How much control they have over it if somebody just goes out there and recklessly tears it up. I don't see how you can hold the city accountable immediately for that unless they have 24-hour security watching the door. So there has to be some reasonable. Language.
That responsibility fell under their purview before this contract negotiation even needed to exist.
Well, I think we're going to have a section in the contract where each one is independently done. Each grant is kind of independently done, which is what we've been doing anyway.
So if we're talking about bathrooms,
then here's the requirements for the bathrooms. If we're going to, for example, on the doors, in hindsight, I think it would have been nice to say, okay, if we're going to give you this money for the doors, then you need to add the light that is lights over the top that lights up the area that Bureau Veritas has suggested you do. You need to move one of the cameras that the EDC paid for several years ago to the park so that we have camera visual access to what's going on there. And you need to post signs that say there's camera monitoring going on. Those are things Bureau Veritas recommended, as well as taking one of the police cars that might not be in use, rather than it sitting here at the back of City Hall locked up, having the car parked over there and the gates locked. Now, I will tell you that the city has tried to do some things to protect the park. They have the police department driving through, doing rounds through there a couple times every night, and they have the gates locked at night. So both gates are supposed to be locked. So there aren't supposed to be citizens out there at night. But we also are going to want to ask on something like that too, that they have a policy for how the bathrooms get cleaned and people being held accountable for that kind of thing. So those are things that we can put in, and I think we'll need to have a section of the grant application that specifies individually with each particular grant that they ask for, what they have to do. What kind of matching do you think we ought to do? Do you think we ought to do 1-for-1, or maybe we match them like a quarter of whatever they put into it?
Why? Are they still the point to where you really can't take blood from a stone?
No, apparently not. So Greg Sprinkle said during the meeting that they had $70,000 in occupancy taxes that they are earmarking to go into the park. Well, if they have $70,000 earmarked for the park, then that made me think maybe we ought to do a quarter to every dollar.
Yeah, definitely. there's only a certain amount of our budget that's gonna be able to be tied to it, so we don't wanna get in a position to where we're stretching it, obviously, so.
Or even if it should be tiered. You know, if they're gonna invest this much, we'll put this much in, if they're gonna invest this much, we'll put this much in. I don't know.
That's very
Because I-
similar to the way that the other,
And we're doing with the facade.
with the
grant.
facade
Facade,
grant,
right.
similar structure,
That's what maybe.
a percentage.
Right.
I mean, that could work, the same format could work.
Because we don't want to get in a position, yeah, we'll do 1-for-1 and say, okay, well, it's the 50 grand we're putting in.
Yeah, I think the 1-for-1 sounds great, but when you look at what our budget is overall for the year,
It also sounds great, but
That
I also think it'd be hard to get 5 out of them, but if they got
I think the
7
biggest deal is that they have
grand,
newfound money, right? They have newfound money that can go to that, which is great, because the park does need some upkeep and maintenance and repairs. How big of a part of that we want to be. I think this all came about just through discussion of things that we see that need to be done and trying to figure out how we could facilitate the funds for that. But if they've found the funds, then yes, we can still make those suggestions and have that tiered, we're willing to put in the percentage based on what their overall spend is for each occurrence.
Well, historically, over the last 10 years, they've come to the EDC repeatedly for money for the park. And it's been a back and forth kind of thing. And there was at one point 3 years ago where the city was wanting the EDC to pay for all the maintenance in the park. And the EDC said, no, that's not our responsibility. It's a city park and we can't use the money. These are sales tax dollars that are designated for assisting with economic development, not we're running the
Operations.
park.
Committee.
So
In fact, we couldn't even do that. Could we? Even if we wanted. to.
no, for maintenance, we couldn't. But I'm glad you said something about that. You're going to find that I gave each of you a copy of the law related to the ability for the EDC to use money for parks. Because section 505.152, projects related to recreational or community facilities, has an entire list that shows you that we are able to assist with EDC funds for any kind of improvements, facilities, equipments, buildings, land used for professional or amateur sports, children's sports, athletic, entertainment, tourism, convention, and public park purposes and events. We can also use some money for stadiums, ballparks, auditoriums, amphitheaters, park and park facilities, etc. So we're able to do this. We've got some people out there on Facebook who are saying that you can't. They're incorrect. This is the law. So I wanted you to have this in case you have individual citizens contact with you. So it sounds like we're still all kind of in the same direction. So why don't we table this and do no action and take it up in January? And I'll work with the attorney and get some wording on it and put it in some kind of a tiered percentage.
If you would like for me to draft more formal approach, I can. I need just more ideas of what that could look like, but I'd be happy to draft something similar like I did for the facade grant, so we'd have
Okay.
something to present and get some ideas.
Nice, yeah.
All right, that sounds great.
I'll take care of that.
That would be nice.
All right, so the chair would entertain a motion.
So
to-
one quick question. Now, if the city is making a request for a grant, which is great, but do we tie anything to it other than else as far as what that money is being used for? Are they gonna make a request for the city park, or are they making a request for specific
They would
tasks within the park?
specific tasks
Okay.
within the park.
To be approved or not approved based upon, the project.
And it would need to be, it would need to be specific tasks. So for example, the dean at the chamber approached our mayor about having a community garden in the park. She thought that was a great idea, and he thought that sounded like a great idea. I responded to the mayor on that and said that would be something that I would have a lot of concerns about. That would not be something to the EDC. They couldn't come to the EDC for any kind of grant matching for a community garden because that's not a tourism-based, economic development growth-based item. in addition, I have a lot of concerns if they were going to put a community garden in a city park where I can just foresee, based on everything that's happened in the past, lots of involvement at the beginning, lots of people interested at the start. Then in about 5-6 months, suddenly you only have one person doing it. Then within a year, no one's doing it. You got weeds, you got water, you got expense, and then you're going to end up with kind of a mess.
We're talking about my personal garden?
And those of us who have gardens know how much work you
That's
have to
how
cut
it
into
goes, right.
it. You know, and then it's going to become something that I can foresee citizens being angry about, because here's a park that we use for catfish festivals, to bring tourism in, to bring business in, and a community garden in the city park really doesn't seem to match what it is that that park has been designed for. So there are those kind of things that come up and ideas that come up, and they could come to us, you know, with those. We always still have the right, and we want this written up by the city attorney very clearly, by our attorney, that, because we always have the right to say, no, that doesn't match what we think should be going on in the park and what's helpful.
And then we kind of responsibilities, because I hear what you're saying exactly. But maybe that would be okay. It's like, we're okay with that if Keep Walking Beautiful is running lead on that. We're going to take the responsibility and make sure it's okay.
Yeah, but we would then have to turn around and somehow find a way to hold them accountable. So for example,
We
they
can
put
always have your
this,
dropout clause, right? If this
Well,
doesn't happen, then we're out.
They-
Or reverting back to whatever land use it was before.
a great example is they put in nice bushes in front of the park, so we have a nice entrance and nice bushes. But if you go out there, a lot of times they're not maintained, they've got weeds, they're not trimmed, if there's, and they need to be watered, they need to be fertilized, and they're not kept up.
But then that kind of gets back to the overall maintenance. And again, it's not for a pat on my back or anything, but if you ever see me in my truck with kayaks in back, okay, the first thing you'll see is the big trash bags hanging out the back. My little, because the wife and I are always out the all the garbage. Baby. No, but and that's also kind of wondering why in the involvement, and really in a small town like this, talking about the different synergies of the different people, the different groups that want to be involved in this kind of stuff. A lot of this stuff really should Keep Walking Beautiful in it. And if it was ever created, this park committee that I've heard so much about for over 6 months, that never happened.
Well, because people haven't volunteered for it.
I did.
No, well,
I wasn't supposed to either, and I did anyway.
but you got to have a quorum. You got to have enough people, you know, coming to do it, or you're going to find yourself doing your gardening out there by yourself.
Well, yeah, I guess
You don't care about that.
this probably isn't the appropriate spot for maybe we need to rethink that whole park committee thing. Do they really have a mission statement? And if they do, let's make it happen.
Well, yeah, I think that's something city council and the city government will be working on rather than us. But this is just creating a vehicle rather than
I hear
them
you.
coming to us one at each time they need something for the park. This is creating a vehicle just like we have for
Makes
the
sense.
sod grants or parking lot grants. Here's how you come to the EDC if you want the
I'm
EDC
establishing
help.
precedents.
I think what's great, if somebody does want to head up the park board, is now there's some funding available either through the city or through the EDC, and you're not just fighting uphill battles. So, but yeah, I'll work on drafting something a little more formal layout.
All right, so the chair would entertain a motion to table this till January.
I'll make a motion to table the grant program until January.
Second the motion.
First and second, all in favor?
Hey,
Aye.
4-0. All right, on to item number 10. Discuss and or take action on purchasing a small portion of land, approximately 9 by 10 feet, necessary from Greater Vision Church for $3,600 to be able to install the already made Keep West Walking Beautiful signage on the frontage road outside of the TxDOT right of way, and other payments necessary for this purchase and erection of the signage, such as the state required survey and installation fees if needed. So I had mentioned to y'all last month that this was going to be a future agenda item. City Council heard this in November, and on November 12th, they approved the EDC making this purchase. So today is just the formal approval and vote for us to be able to do this. The survey company has already been contacted and is supposed to be scheduling with Mary and the church to go out and do the land survey. It shouldn't cost that much money. And this way we can get the sign that we've, at least the first one that we paid $10,000 for already. That's ready, done, and needs to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Does the sign company do the installation? Is that part of the initial upfront cost, or is that that's another cost?
Keep West Walkeny Beautiful believes that cost has already been paid, that's part of the signage. So, and then the plants that they want to install around the sign, that'll be on them. They'll be paying for that and doing that.
Very good.
Is everything tied to this property purchase that says it can only be keep West Walkeny Beautiful signage on there, or is it just,
It's a very small square.
I get the small?
Lee is the one who will draw up the legal contract for the purchase.
Mhm.
The purchase will protect the church as well as the EDC. So what happens is by purchasing this and putting it up, since we own it, we now can get insurance coverage for it, which you need if there's an accident or anything else happens with that sign. It makes the church harmless from anything that happens. So for example, somebody runs off the road and runs into the sign falls down, hits somebody, it'll be insured by us. Church is harmless for it, but it will also contain the wording that nothing else can happen with that property other than that sign being put up. That particular sign, which means, and the reason it needs to be that way is because city council members are revoted every 2 years. So every year you have new city council members come on. They appoint our EDC board. So every number of years, and our terms are 2 years, every number of years you get new people on the board. What would be inappropriate for the church is if you have new members come on who say, hey, let's take that down, and instead we'd like to install a great big catfish that flashes and says West Walkeny is great. Or they want to take it down and suddenly they want to put a dumpster there. The city now is going to put a dumpster rather than have a sign because we need a place to dump trash.
No, I understand that, but to tie it, so, I mean, even if it's just say for signage, but if you're saying that I'm going to limit it to keep West Walkeny Beautiful language to a sign that we're purchasing from it, I would tell you the truth, why aren't we utilizing the frontage we already own?
We don't own it and we can't. So that's one of the problems. TxDOT
1300?
TxDOT has control over that portion of the road,
15 feet.
and that's why we're not allowed to put a sign up there.
That 15 feet from the road, whatever that boundary is called. So why would we need to buy it from the church instead of just being able to purchase it from PBX on our own properties? How is their property different from ours?
TxDOT will not sell any of that property.
I'm just
It's-
confused.
it has- it
Why
has
is
to
their
go on the
property
church
different
property.
from the property we own right up along the road?
My understanding from the attorney and from Keep West Walkeny Beautiful, they are denied the ability to put the sign in that location. That by putting the sign next to it in that small square of the church property, we can legally do that. But you move closer to the road and we can't. They have all kinds of rules regarding how that sign needed to be built. And that sign was not built according to TxDOT requirements. As a result, it will not ever be allowed to be put along the frontage of 276.
All right. Well, this is one of those things. Well, I will say that wasn't here last month. I suppose everyone did their proper due diligence, and I will say okay. But I kind of go, that's not right.
Oh, it does. We're fixing a problem. I don't know how many years that
I
sign has
know. I
been
just
built.
don't understand why we do that's what the church said. Just do this on our own.
Because we can't.
I hear. You know what I think about I can't. We don't have those words in my house.
All right. So if there's not any further discussion, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the purchase of the small property from Greater Vision Church for $3,600 and the fees for the required survey and installation.
I'll make a motion.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to number 11, discuss and or take action regarding 1300 East State Highway 276 building and property. There is no action to be taken on this. I just wanted to give you guys the status that we still don't have insurance on the building yet. Mary is supposed to be getting with the company this week. She's got it on her agenda to schedule for them to come out and to see the building and give us the estimate for the insurance. All right, on to number 12, discuss and or take action on election of officers for 2026. Our corporate bylaws say that every December we elect officers that take their position in January. So we can keep the same positions. Right now, I'm the president, Larry is vice president, Kathy is treasurer, and Sylvia has been hired in the secretarial position. Sylvia, we're going to miss you. She is retiring, so this is her last day here for that position. And we'll talk about that on the next agenda item. So what we need to do is formally elect those positions. So I'm going to just let you guys know that I think I would be happy, very happy with staying in the president position for another year. It's a lot of work, and
Yes, it is.
I have not gotten it to the point to hand it off to somebody. So
We're all chuckling. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
that is my eventual goal. And
I don't personally see a reason for change of structure. I think you do a great job at your seat, and me personally, it sits right.
all right, well, thank you for that. I think that I kind of agree at this point. Kathy as treasurer requires both of our signatures for checks. If we change treasurer, then I have to take time out of my day again and spend another hour and a half at the bank. I have to get her notes. Sylvia has to come up to the bank. We have to show that there's been a change in treasurer. Then we have to change the signature. Let's just not do that to me. That's a lot of work. Larry, I think you're doing a great job as vice president.
Yeah, Larry.
You think so? All right.
All right. So chair would entertain a motion to leave the officers in the
Sure.
same position.
I'll make a motion to keep the current structure of the officers.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The day I vote no on something like that, we'll tell you when I'm done.
Right.
All right, so let's go to number 13. Discuss and or take action on thanking Sylvia Leeds for her service and deciding if another secretarial staff position should be open for applications or if the existing officers can perform the duties of minutes and record keeping services. So I'm going to officially thank you again, Sylvia. I think you have done a wonderful job,
Mhm.
and I have
Yeah.
enjoyed meeting you and working with you. So we can,
Do you know, is there somebody you know that's willing to step in for this position?
so what I think what the question is do we want to hire someone and pay them, it's $100 a month, see if somebody will do it for that? Or do we want to have a board member take on that role and do it? In most of the boards that I'm on, we don't have paid secretarial services.
Right.
So, I'm the secretary for the Lake Flacony Planning and Zoning Commission for the county. So I take the minutes and we do the exact same thing here that we do there. Mary has offered to do the minutes for us, and she does the minutes for the city council meetings and everything else. And I'm going to want to be very outspoken. I just told her no. I think she does so much. She has so much on her plate. I don't think she needs to do that at this time. The way the minutes are currently being done, Sylvia types them up, sends them to me, then I review them, make any changes, anything, make sure that we've got it all, copacetic with the notes that I take. I take notes on what's said and what's here. So I'm not concerned about, having the minutes done. And I can take the minutes, we can hire someone to take the minutes, or we can appoint somebody to do minutes, and I'll still review them to make sure that they're accurate.
Well, aside from the cost, is there another benefit to from what I see, which is the option, just having a third party person taking the minutes, or there's somebody with inside of our group, right? Because you got a third party person who's not within the group, but they're writing the minutes, so it's more objective.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I don't think
That's
so,
what I'm
because
just
we're on,
thinking off the top of my head.
one of the benefits of being on YouTube
Mhm.
is that
Being held accountable.
the YouTube holds you accountable. So the YouTube has the list, has everything we've said and who's talked and whatever. So what's on YouTube should be matching what's in the minutes. And you guys review them, even though I'm not at that point to be able to get you the packets early enough. At some point I will be doing that. But when you go home, you can read through minutes. And if you go home and you go, wait a minute, there's something in this minute that doesn't right, you can go look on YouTube as well and come back and say, hey, I want to bring this back up. You just send me an email, I'll put it back on the agenda.
Well, there's no actual definitive value in it. We should just keep it in-house. And I would suggest that we're gonna, because there's always one of us that can't make it, aside from the president, but we're not gonna put it on you, is to put a rotating. Because everyone should know how to do it, especially if someone's not gonna be able to do it. So we just all get in the habit of taking notes.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
We could do something like that.
And I would be willing to be the first person to volunteer for it. Then again, I don't know if I'm gonna have to go see a doctor.
I kind of like the idea of the rotating. I wouldn't look forward to the week it gets to me. I'm not a great note taker, but I could always go back and study YouTube.
I'm
And
not good at all.
But here's the nice thing, is while you're going through it, right? You take your notes, you just put them on here while you're doing it, and just go do a little summary. She's gonna be the one that finalizes the narrative anyways. She ain't gonna let that slip out, so she ain't doing it right.
No, and I'll still make sure it's in the form that it needs to be in,
Right.
With roll call list and everything else. So,
I have no problem with us taking it internally. Maybe look into some of the AI type recording that can actually log meetings for you, and it would take everything we're saying, log it, and then we can just grab the highlights out of it and make the minutes out of that. There's some way to do it probably without having to pay somebody to do it.
okay.
I understand that you can record them on one of those AI sites
Mhm.
and they will write it.
Transcript it.
Right.
Now, whether they get it right or not,
Yeah. That's the,
I just got with another project on AI that they were getting wrong a lot. A lot of misspellings, a lot of
Right.
typographical errors, and sometimes taking information from one place and inserting it in there where it was completely wrong.
I
You
wonder-
have to be very careful.
wonder too if you could even take the YouTube, load it into ChatGPT, and tell it to summarize the
You
meeting,
might
grab
be
the
able
minutes
to
out
do
of it.
that.
You may be able to do that, but I think that we could look into some other options, but I personally don't see the reason to pay somebody to do it if it's something that we can simply do it amongst
I
ourselves.
agree.
I do like that idea too, although I will agree with Sylvia, who seems to be our AI expert.
Well,
No, but no, she is absolutely correct. Trust me, I love AI and I play with it all the time. I love arguing with it,
yeah.
but right, it's growing a lot. It really is. So, but you know what? Give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Just figure it all out.
So it sounds like
I'll do it first.
we can make a motion to not hire a secretarial staff position and instead to rotate
Taking notes.
taking minutes
Taking minutes.
with Rhett Byer
Oh,
being responsible for the first minutes in January.
I'll do that.
I'll make that motion. Do you have a second?
I'll second you.
All right, all in favor?
I
All right, so we'll move on to number 14. Discuss and or take action on moving the annual renewal of terms for individual board members, directors to the December meeting each year to coincide with the annual election of officers.
Could we just say, I make a motion? Okay, well, I'm sorry, open for discussion.
Yeah, you could say, yes, you can make a motion, just make a motion to do that.
I make a motion.
I'll second your motion.
All in favor?
I,
All right.
That's an easy one.
So then we go to 15, discuss and or take action on renewing board members who are set to expire in 2026. Right now, Larry's term expires September 2026, mine September 2026, Kathy September 2026, and Rhett September 2026. Cindy is set to expire September 2027, Casey September 2027. So given that we're going to move those to the December meeting, that would mean Larry's expires December 2026.
26, right?
Yes,
This year this year.
yes, this year. Well, no, next year,
Yeah.
in a
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
All right, so the chair would entertain well, actually, we don't need to do a motion on that then. So we're good. So now everybody knows what their dates are. So there's no action on that.
Can I ask you something on that right quick?
Yeah.
This kind of circles back to 14. So say that Larry decides next year that that's going to be his last year. If we don't start that conversation until December, that gives us a very short time to try to fill that chair. Is that how that would work, or is that
No,
no?
because the applications to be on the EDC board are always open.
Okay.
So citizens can fill out applications anytime that they want. City council has the power to remove a EDC board member with no reason named. They can just vote and remove you, and they can vote and replace you with anybody they want to replace you with.
Fair enough.
So, but if somebody did decide that they were going to leave, it would be greatly appreciated to give me a heads up. Okay. Right now, we have a full board that works very well together. So, all right. So we'll move on to number 16, future agenda items. Is there anything that y'all would like to see placed on the future agenda at this time?
We're rolling, everything, park stuff for me, but I think we're rolling down that track pretty in the right direction.
All right. So we'll go to 17. Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor?
Alright.
All right, we are adjourned at 6:15.
Wow.
Did we
That was
miss
a
something?
good meeting.
Quick-
Best meeting.
quick one in history.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
quick meeting. Yeah.